Thank you for staying with us. And now to our interview with the guest of the day. I am joined by a lawyer, writer, and member of the All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council, Jesutega Onokpasa. He is also a member of the Tinubu Presidential Legal Team. Onokpasa has been a personal assistant to the Speaker of Delta State House of Assembly, senior special assistant to the Governor of Delta State, and senior legislative aide to the Deputy Senate President. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, sir.
It's my pleasure.
All right. An interesting conversation tonight. So let's begin this way. The 2023 elections have come and gone, but it's still generating a lot of acrimony. Why this?
Well, I think I would start by saying that let me just clarify the capacity in which I am here. I am here not as a member of Asiwaju's legal team. Neither am I here representing the APC Presidential Campaign Council. I am a member of both. Now, as far as why there is controversy after an election has been clearly won and lost, I guess we can put it down to the character of Nigerians. You know, you lose an election, well, you refuse to agree that you've lost the election, and you expect to obtain victory basically by hook or crook. I think that is what is going on, because the election that was held on the 25th of February, the presidential election, was clearly won and lost. And so there's no, I think these are just shenanigans that are to be expected of Nigerians. Let me put it that way.
So, from the presidential to the governorship elections, many candidates have gone to court to challenge the outcome. Why are elections in Nigeria subjected to widespread litigations?
Just the same thing I just told you. It's the character of Nigerians. You know, that people just don't want to play the game by its rules. You know, you have a situation where someone has even woefully lost the election, and the person is still insisting that he should get to office by hook or crook. You know, it's as simple as that. Just I will put it down to bad character, actually.
All right. So, you know, elections are our major tool of promoting democracy, but it's quite disturbing that many election matters are decided by the court. For you, what impact do you think this will have on the country's democracy?
Let me put it this way. Let's take this election as a case in point. Now, what happened in this election? An election was held. I was reading something written by Professor Atairu Jega, you know, and he tried to analyze what had happened on the 25th of February, and he was trying to compare it with what happened back in 1979. And it was, you know, what is to be expected of someone of Jega's intellect, you know. Nevertheless, there was a position he took there, which I even disagree with due respect to him. The election that was held on the 25th is not exactly comparable with the one that was held in 1979. And that's because in 1979, for instance, there was no ruling party. So there was no opposition. Therefore, all the parties were on an equal footing. So, comparing it with the election held on the 25th, it's not necessarily ideal. What happened this year is that we are a ruling party. We are a party in power. All the other parties together constitute the opposition. So when you are tabulating the votes, when you see, let's say there are 25 million votes, you try to see how many votes the ruling party has gotten in this kitty, how many votes the opposition combined has gotten first. It's not a question of, Shiwaju Tinubu scored so and so votes, Atiku Abubakar scored so and so votes, Peter Obi scored so and so votes, Rabiu Kwakwaso scored so and so votes. Not at all. There is a common pot of votes which represents all the voters that voted in Nigeria on that day. Then that pot is now shared into two. You now look at the total pool of votes that was garnered by the ruling party, and you compare it to the totality of votes garnered by the opposition. And this, from that point of view, this is probably the strangest election in the entire history of Nigeria. You have the ruling party being able to garner approximately 8.8 million votes. You have the opposition as a group garnering 14 million plus votes. So the question of this election is not about where did Tinubu's 8.8 million votes come from, or how did Obi get 6.2 million votes. No, it is what did the opposition do with 14 million votes. Because from that perspective, they are already ahead of us with some 5 million votes. This is really important. So how did they mismanage 14 million votes that our 8.8 million votes ended up defeating their 14 million votes? That is the issue of this election. Not these shenanigans. Not talking about high rev. Not talking about this or that. You have 14 million votes in your kitty. Opposition. All of you are one. We are on one side. We are APC. We are a ruling party, for God's sake. It's not like 1979 at all. All the parties in 79, NPN, UPN, NPP, GNPP, they were all just struggling for power. There was no ruling party. It was the military that was in government. There was no ruling party. There was no opposition. There is a ruling party. We are trying to retain power. They are trying to take power from us. So all of them collectively are the opposition. And they had 14 million votes. All these funny, ridiculous people talking about rigging. That is how to rig election. Does former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, does she not know how elections are rigged? Our former boss, Olusegun Obasanjo, is the biggest rigger of elections in the entire history of Nigeria. Is that how you rig election? You rig election by allocating 14 million votes to your opponent and only 8.8 million votes to yourself? What are these people talking about? Is that how to rig election? What is Shimamanda writing? You said Tinubu gave money to who? To Mahmoud Yakubu. And then what was the point of giving him money? For him to give the opposition 14 million votes and give him only 8.8 million votes. That is the one and only issue in this election. Every other thing is just shenanigans.
So what is the implication of this on? What is the implication of this on our nation's democracy?
Well, for me, it is certainly distracting. For instance, the election has been clearly won, and it has also been clearly lost. Now, those who have lost are being Trumpian, clearly being Trumpian. They refuse to concede defeat, you know. That sort of thing weakens the democracy. You know, it stresses it. For instance, right now, what we should be thinking of is, how do we take care of 200 million plus people? How do we move our country forward? But then you have the losers, the people who could not manage 14 million votes. These people are the strangest kind of people I've ever seen in my life. You have
many, Mr. Onokpasa, many analysts were of the opinion that the 2023 elections will be different due to the introduction of Beavers. Why do we still have litigations trailing the outcome of this election? Would you totally blame this on INEC?
No, in fact, INEC has absolutely no blame, because the 2023 elections were actually different thanks to Beavers. They were different. If it was before Beavers, let us take the era of Obasanjo. Rigging elections, for instance, is very, very difficult. It's not that easy. It takes a lot of effort. But Obasanjo came with this funny way of rigging elections very easily. All he did was just call up Boris Iwu on the phone and say, write this result for this person, write this result for that person, write this other result for this other person. Now, what did Beavers do? In fact, Beavers has made it almost impossible to rig elections. And that's why you have this surprising situation where the opposition party gets 14 million votes. Please, let's be focused on the real issues on ground. The opposition in Nigeria got 14 million votes. The ruling party, the party in power, with all the governors we have, all the senators we have, all the members of House of Reps we have, we got 8.something million votes. That's all we got. So what did the opposition do with their 14 million votes? Their duty. Do you know the interesting thing? Bola Tinubu had actually given everyone the marking scheme of how to defeat a party in power. How do you defeat a party in power? You are an opposition. That opposition comes together. It's as simple as that. You come together as one. You attain critical mass. But that is not even necessarily enough, because you also have to hope for division in the ruling party. That is how APC came to power in 2015. There is no mystery about it. Bola Tinubu was able to gather the entire Nigerian opposition together, and they attained critical mass. Then the PDP that was then in power failed to keep itself together, and it was defeated. So even this election cycle, our greatest fear was that they will use our own formula against us to defeat us. That they will be sensible enough to come together as one. That they will unite. And that we would have problems in our midst, and that is how they will defeat us. Do you know the funny thing? They actually add the votes. Look at the votes. I don't know what is the problem with Nigerians. Somebody is accusing Mahmoud Yakubu of rigging the election. What election? You have 14 million votes there. Look at the figures. Look at the numbers. They rigged you. Oh, IREF did not work, but this IREF that did not work still gave you a total of 14 million votes. There was voter suppression. Oh, there was voter suppression, but you still got 14 million votes. There was vote buying. We bought vote with our cashless election, with your Naira redesign, with your fuel scarcity, and you still got 14 million votes. With all these supposed atrocities we committed, all we still got was less than 9 million votes. What did you do with 40 million votes? What did Sarah Omaku do with 40 million votes? She said they would waste their votes. Oh, and then they started scattering the votes. And Atiku took almost 7 million votes. Only God knows what he did with it. Obi took 6 million. Please, just let me land okay? Obi took 6 million. Of course, Kwankwaso burnt 1.5 million. That is your problem. Your duty was to concentrate the votes. If they had all if they all come together, if they came together as one, in fact, any one of them could have won with just a few more votes, 1 million votes. They did not. Our elections won. It's first past the post. That's how we defeated them. We kept ourselves together. They wasted their votes. The votes of 14 million Nigerians. That is the issue in this election. There's no other issue. There is no other issue. They had already won. But if they had just come together, they would have defeated us. They failed to defeat us. There was rigging. Is that how to rig election? Is that how Obasanjo used to rig election? Telling people which rigging? Come and prove the rigging. Let us see. With your 40 million votes, what have you been smoking?
So, for the purpose of the election litigation already building up, Mr. Onokpasa, for the purpose of the election litigation already building up, for you, how critical is data from Beavers?
In what sense? Come again, please.
How critical is data from Beavers for election litigation?
That is the law says that the umpire, INEC, should determine the mode of voting. And then the device that INEC came up with is Beavers, which means you really can't vote without Beavers. So it's critical. But the funny thing is that it is thanks to Beavers that the election panned out as it did. It is thanks to Beavers that, surprisingly, the ruling party, we the ruling party, we have 8.8 million votes. That's all we have. They, the opposition, they have 40 million plus votes. That's almost 15 million votes. If not for Beavers, I don't think they would have gotten that. That is how transparent these elections were. In fact, the people who should be suspicious of the election, the people who should be wondering what happened in this election, should be the APC. How come a ruling party, the party in power, gets just a little above 1/3 of the votes cast? So it's not that's with due respect to Professor Jega. There is no comparison between this election and the election in 1979. It's not the same kind of election at all. There was no ruling party then. All of them were on the same footing. We are a ruling party. And our projection was that worst case scenario, as long as they are divided, we will, if we don't get above 50%, we will just get just under 50%. But because they are divided, we will still defeat them. How do we get just above 1/3? We should be the ones even accusing INEC of giving them votes that do not belong to them. Do you understand me? This
I do.
You have 40 million votes. How can you be complaining about rigging? We should even be the ones complaining. But we trust the process.
Mr. Onokpasa, you may have said the election for you was almost perfect, but many candidates have faulted INEC for failure to upload results on IRF in real time. What's the position of the law on this?
There is no compulsion to upload results anywhere. The law is what it is. The law is clear, it's there, it's written. So, in fact, that issue is not even worth wasting time on. The law gives INEC the discretion to determine how results are transmitted. That is there's no compulsion to upload results in this time frame or not. But even something I personally suspect, that what happened to the INEC portal during the election was thanks to Peter Obi and Atiku, because that is also what we discovered at the Presidential Campaign Council. People were trying to hack the INEC server. Now, I'm not holding brief for INEC, but my own little understanding of computers, of electronics, the safest way to prevent a server is the same process to protect a phone. It's the same process to prevent someone from using your television with a webcam from spying on you. You just switch the device off. Oh yeah, come and hack. So that's my suspicion, but I don't know what account would be for INEC. But I know that supporters of Peter Obi and supporters of Atiku Abubakar, we are trying to hack the INEC server from all over the world. They were doing it here from here in Nigeria. They were doing it from Canada. They tried to do it from the United States. They were doing it from Europe. They were doing it from Malaysia. So I don't know what INEC decided to do. Probably to keep their server safe. They switched it up. I don't know. Yeah. Nevertheless, with or without that IREF, they ended up with 40 million votes. Please, I will keep coming to that. That is, I know what I'm doing. That is all these discussions, they are all irrelevant. If you have 40 million votes and I have 8.8 million votes, you have defeated me. So it depends on what you do with your votes. If Atiku Abubakar does not step down for Peter Obi, and Peter Obi does not step down for Atiku Abubakar, how the hell are any one of them going to defeat Achiwaju Tinubu? What sort of political calculation is that?
INEC's, Mr. Onokpasa, don't you think INEC's decision affected the credibility of the process?
How? Which credibility? Are you ignoring the 40 million votes? I mean, how do you determine credibility? What do these people, what were they expecting? That Bola Tinubu would not get votes? I don't know. They already have 40 million votes in their kitty. Now, is it that, what makes the election not credible? That Bola Tinubu had just 8.8 million votes? Is it that Bola Tinubu's 8.8 million votes should have been donated, allocated by Mahmoud Yakubu to Peter Obi? Or is it to Atiku Abubakar? What sort of crap is this? I'm not going into all these shenanigans. The issue in this election is the opposition got 40 million votes. In fact, I have been having a running battle with my colleagues. Don't discuss these shenanigans with them. Ask them what they did with 40 million votes. That's all. We have just 8.8 million votes. We rigged the election and you still got 40 million votes. How did you do that? Who rigged who? That's the issue.
So, Mr. Onokpasa, you know, it's on record that Nigeria has the highest number of pre-election cases globally, and also not forgetting post-election petitions as well. And at this time, there is a lot of pressure on the judiciary, especially from the camp of the Labour Party. As a lawyer, how will you react to that?
Well, without going into the case, I'm not going to after all, it's sub judice. I can tell you this for free. this entire process has been as bizarre as it gets. Now, you claim you have been rigged in an election. You file a petition in court. The same day that you filed a petition in court, you start perambulating from TV station to TV station. And what do? You insult judges. You denigrate the courts. You try to drag the judiciary in the mud. You issue orders to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. You issue commands to the Chief Justice of Nigeria. That's what that ridiculous character, Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed, was doing. Peter Obi had gone to court in the morning, and in the evening, the same Peter Obi sent him to go and insult the Nigerian judiciary. Insult the same court that they had filed a case in. Just that very morning. Now, do you know what we do as lawyers? How we understand the very process of going to court. When you file a case in court, you are actually making a profound statement. You are saying that, court, I trust you to give me justice. That's why I came here, instead of taking the law into my own hands. That is what it means to go to court. When you go to court, in one breath you've gone to court. In the very next breath, you are insulting the court. You are saying you don't have confidence that the same court you filed a case in will give you justice. You are in contempt of court already, as far as I'm concerned. You ought not even be heard by the court. Nobody is scared of anything. Nobody is scared. There's no case here. The case is, you will prove how 14 million votes were defeated by rigging, by just 8.8 million votes. So it's not a question of anybody being. I said there's no case. Now you've gone to court. You are busy insulting the court. The next day, you instigate your supporters to go to the defense headquarters, calling for a coup. They were committing treason right there in front of the defense house. And General Lucky Iraba, with all his knowledge of the law, did not remember that if somebody comes in front of the defense house asking for a coup, for military takeover, that is a national security threat. He should have rounded up everyone. That is not protected speech. That's not freedom of speech. Treason is not freedom of speech. Once you call for military takeover, you are calling for a coup. You are committing a crime. It is a capital offense called treason. It's not beyond the realm of protected speech or freedom of expression. You know, that is what they have been doing. So for me, without commenting on the case itself, I don't even believe that Peter Obi and that is equally strange running mate have actually gone to court, because I don't understand this bizarre, utterly bizarre, macabre situation where someone goes to court in the morning and the case has not started. I even heard that Leonard Sik Olisa Agbakoba was saying that he does not trust the Nigerian judiciary. I was dumbfounded, because he is a product of the Nigerian judiciary. Everything Olisa Agbakoba is in his entire life is because he stands to the Nigerian judiciary. So how come? Because they wasted 14 million votes. And we gathered our 8.8 million votes. Therefore, the Nigerian judiciary is now useless to these people. Well, we shall see. Now, the the entire specter of trying to intimidate the court is the issue. Trying to tarnish the reputation of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, you know. And then what impression does it give one? You claim you have gone to court, and then you keep hearing these statements, these comments, these shenanigans, and you wonder what is really going on here. Frankly,
Mr. Onokpasa,
at a level, I just yes.
At this point, we need to take a break. Tonight on the program, we're focusing on the 2023 elections and the legal battles ahead with a lawyer and member of the All Progressives Congress, Jesutega Onokpasa. This discussion will continue.